Is there somebody that have heard about it before this event? All right. I think it's roughly 20-30%. That's good. It was a big endeavor at the beginning. We were thinking what to do. You know, the taxes in Czech Republic and in Europe were going higher and higher. The politics was going down the drain. We were trying hard to fix the system in Czech Republic. I published a lot of videos. I think I have some 20 million views now on different channels about economic freedom, about deregulation, about cryptocurrencies. We were educating people in Czech Republic how bad are central banks, how intransparent it is, how inflation is harming people, etc. But at some point, you simply realize something, right? It's much easier to start something new than to fight the existing system. And that's a great example of Bitcoin, right? It's not really fighting with central banks, it's just offering an alternative. And we thought that, you know, Liberland was roughly born around the same time Ethereum was born, and we thought the same, right? We have to start something new. We should stop fighting with the existing system. There is so much fight being done inside of the nation states, but it just might simply be much better to start a new country and to show the rest of the world how that we want to see. It is a small plot of land between Croatia and Serbia, only 7 square kilometers. Of course, the idea is a little bit bigger, and that is to build a freest and most crypto-friendly country on the planet. It was established on 13th of April, and that was done on purpose. 13th of April is actually birthday of Thomas Jefferson. We wanted to pay tribute to the founder of the United States, a guy that wrote a great Declaration of Independence and that set the development of the country to be very free for at least 200 years, and that turned it into a superpower that the United States is now. But of course, even the United States has turned away from its original founding fathers' ideas. Right now, the taxes are 35-40%, still a little bit lower than in Europe, but the state basically takes 40% of what you make. There is plenty of unuseful regulation, like Donald Trump is doing something about it. I think he's got quite successful track record since he was elected. But Liberland was born on the birthday of Thomas Jefferson, 13th of April 2015. It was just 3 people standing there at that plot of land. And the idea was simple. You know, we want to build a best system for governance. We want to have some elements of republic, meaning that the government should be really limited to what it can do, and nothing can change that. We wanted to have some elements of democracy, especially the elements that the Switzerland had. The idea that the citizens can veto any bad laws that the government comes and votes in. And we also wanted to fix this strange system in which one person has one vote in the society, no matter how helpful are they to the society. So a little bit of a meritocracy. That's where our token comes in, which is called merit. Basically, that represents how much of taxes you have paid to Liberland or how helpful you were to set Liberland up. And the whole thing is, of course, based on top of the first decentralized autonomous organizations or decentralized autonomous governments, now as Liberland calls itself. And there is a very nice book about it, about an open source government that you can read, or you can come to me, and I have a couple copies here. So what do you need to have a country? And I bet some of you also want to have a country, so this lecture might be helpful for you. You need to have a population, you need to have a defined territory, you need to have a government, and you need to have a capacity to enter into relations with other states. Those are the basic preconditions defined by Montevideo criteria. And I will tell you one by one how Liberland is fulfilling or is working on fulfilling these goals. Right now there is 550,000 people that apply for citizenship. I think that's a very decent number by now. It's hard to call Liberland a micronation if you are bigger than Iceland or Malta in terms of potential population. We've got some 200,000 people that are fully eligible. That means that they fulfill the criteria that we have asked them to do. And we've got also an enormous amount of businesses that want to come to Liberland and flourish there. So I think there is a great potential in the community that we have built in 3 years old. Liberland, the whole start was kind of crazy. I think we received some 300,000 emails in the first week alone. Can you imagine that? That we basically stick a flag somewhere, and the answer from the international community was that 300,000 people sit down and wrote us an email, we want to be part of this. And it was kind of unexpected. We were thinking that maybe 20,000 people will apply for citizenship in long run, but apparently there is much greater demand than we anticipated for building a new country based on freedom principles. So we've got defined territory, it's very well defined. It's defined to the degree of centimeters. It's between Croatia and Serbia, and it was unclaimed and still is unclaimed by any other entity than Liberland itself. It is a result of ongoing border dispute between Serbia and Croatia. In this border dispute, if either of these countries will claim Liberland, they will lose the border dispute with the other country. Which gives us a very interesting legal situation that we were creating. So you can see that the Croatian cadastre map, there is a big white space. They don't register Liberland. And Serbia already stated, despite the whole world claims this piece is Serbia. Even if you open Google Maps, you can see Liberland there. If you type in Liberland, but you can also see that it says Serbia. But apparently, according to the statement by the Foreign Ministry of Serbia, which was done very eagerly when Liberland started, this place is not of their interest. It doesn't belong to the Republic of Serbia. So that was a great support by Serbia from the early days of Liberland. We also have government, very skilled individuals that are with me now, working for a couple of years. For example, Thomas Walls was one of the big persons that were putting together the Dayton Agreement in the early days when there were Balkan walls. So he's got a very good track record with US diplomacy. I'm happy to have him on board. Dennis Pierce, our Minister of Interior, is a great expert. Also previously worked for previous governments. Now he is taking care mainly of our settlement efforts. So we own the government as well. That's another criteria that Liberland fulfills. This picture is actually from the last anniversary when the whole government gathered and we celebrated 3 years. But what is even more important is that we have people like Ivan Pernar, this guy over here, who is a member of Croatian Parliament but also founder of one of the important political parties. They have grown from 3% to 13–14% as we speak. They are very likely to be part of one of the next governments in Croatia, and they're fully supportive of what we do. And honestly, Croatia is right now the only obstacle to start properly developing Liberland. They don't claim Liberland, but they also tell us, guys, we don't want you here. Which is something that needs to change. And again, I'm very happy that there is an element in Croatian society which fully supports it. And Ivan Pernar is a great person. Actually, last week we were together for Malta Blockchain Summit, and he is getting himself familiar with the ecosystem of cryptocurrencies. And they've got a great program how to reform the monetary system of Croatia. So it's a great pleasure to have him on board. You could see that we don't have the Minister of Justice, but that's one of the reasons is that we actually want to have a decentralized justice system. We've got a key partner, Kleros, which is a protocol for dispute resolution on blockchain. We want to make sure that there will be a system of decentralized jurors in Liberland, and that Liberland will be one of the most trustworthy places to settle fast your disputes, no matter what they are. We're building the whole Liberland governance system on top of DAO stack. And I'm actually right now here, and unfortunately I have to leave tonight because tomorrow in Israel starts hackathon where Liberland programmers are meeting and are putting these systems together. It's a 2-day event. I think it's 120 programmers that go down there, and they're making sure that they are developing all of these systems and plugging them together. We've got our system of tokens. So whatever energy you put into Liberland, you always receive merits. The idea is that it is basically a DAO, or decentralized autonomous government, but with one small exception. You cannot really unstake your merits all at once. You can only unstake 10% a year. So unlike with corporations, which are kind of unstable, we want Liberland ecosystem to be stable. It is a long-term commitment, and honestly, we are turning it from a system where you have to pay taxes. If you don't pay them, you go to jail, into a system where whenever you pay taxes, which are completely voluntary, you actually always get a share of the country itself back. But those are the facts. But there is also this other important thing, right? You can't have a real country unless you have a beer and an airline, which is kind of a fun quote. It helps if you have some kind of football team or some nuclear weapons, but at the very least you need to have a beer. And I'm very happy that Liberlanders actually put together already 2 beers. There are 2 breweries, and they are completely non-public. They're private ventures. They're doing quite fine. I'm happy that there is they're partnering breweries now growing around the world, that they're brewed now in Serbia. The beer is brewed in Serbia, it's going to be brewed in the United States, it's brewed in Czech Republic. There will also be a small brewery in Liberland very soon. We have an airline, so it's kind of a Uberizing skies plan, where the Liberland plane owners are getting together and offering their capacity to other Liberlanders, but also to the rest of the world. So the airline company is also there. It was created completely independently of the state. It just tells you how strong is the Liberland community globally. And we've got great people in basically all elements of the society. And now Patrick Schumacher is one of the very famous world architects. He is the CEO of Zaha Hadid. Zaha Hadid was very likely the most famous female architect in the world. And they approached us at the beginning of Liberland and they told us, we would like to help you. We've got the means to do it. We'll organize an architectural competition. And we received some 80 entries, and a lot of architectural studios wanted to take part. I will just show you 2 concepts which I like the most. Unfortunately, none of these 2 have taken, were the winning concepts, but I don't have the time to show you all the others. I quite like this concept done by an American/Chinese architectural studio, which would build Liberland basically in a way that it would not harm the nature at all. I think it's one of the ways to do it. Amazingly enough, these domes or eggs that are now in the concept, they have started to produce them last year in Slovakia, completely independent of Liberland, and our representative to Slovakia became also a marketing director for this company. So there are these strange coincidences which make me believe that this will be probably how the early days of Liberland will look like. It's quite futuristic, but I think there is something to it, and we also have to be kind of ecological because we are in the middle of national park. There are other nice concepts that can also fit an international airport inside of the territory. This concept was developed by a professor in Harvard University. I think also a very reasonable way how Liberland could potentially be settled. If you go into e/liberland.org, you will be able to see our cadastre maps, but also how the plots would be laid out in that scenario. And we also have to have diplomacy. Right now, there is more than 100 representative offices around the world that are helping Liberland to grow. I'm very happy about the Russian community. I think we've got 7,000 Russians that apply for citizenship. There is also a small initiative to build a village of Liberlanders. And of course, we are more than happy when Liberlanders come to us and they'll tell us that they're developing their own cities or projects elsewhere. We've got very nice smaller villages also in other places, Honduras, Belize, Mexico, a nice place in Norway as well as in Portugal. So I'm happy that that Liberlanders are not just kind of virtual nation. It is a group of people that want to live together and they share similar values. And of course, it's not just crypto, it's a belief in freedom. And we are working hard to get Liberland recognized in the US Congress and Senate. I was there for the third time in the last 2 years. We've got lots of support. I hope that the proposition to recognize Liberland will pass on in the US Congress during next year. So that's our immediate mission. We are also working with a number of states in the US, and we're working on recognition there already. I've already made a couple of official state visits. This was my official state visit to Palestine. It was a very great opportunity to actually introduce Palestinian government to cryptocurrencies. A year and a half ago, I think they received first Ether that they ever got to their wallet. So that was an interesting opportunity. And we also signed first agreements with other governments. We have signed cooperation agreement with Somaliland government. If you don't know where Somaliland is, it's a very beautiful piece of land. Close to Somalia, but much more civilized, much more stable, much more prosperous, with all attributes of statehood. And we are also planning on building a small Liberland village there. That's our embassy, if you ever come to visit to Somaliland. So we also have physical spaces. This is the village that I told you that we've got in Central America. The first phase is called New Liberland. It's built on top of beautiful mountain in a very reasonable climate. So that's another great opportunity if you're coming to Panama, which is very nice in terms of course, climate, but also respecting people's freedom. You can actually visit Liberland village. This is how the development looks like there. But of course, all these businesses, you are usually virtual, but it is great because, for example, Liberland has decided to make the first website ever where you get only paid by crypto for your work. So there is Liberland Jobs now, a very new company where you can go and offer your services for crypto, or you can basically hire people for crypto. It's just taking off right now, so if you're a professional and you enjoy being paid by crypto, then this is the place to go. And again, it's a completely private entity. The state has zero to do with it. You can now set up a Liberland company. It just takes a couple of minutes. Liberland.ltd. Very easy process. But the very cool company, very cool aspect about it is that we are launching the e-residency program. I would say it would be a little bit more advanced than the one of Estonia, making things very easy for you to go through. And we are also launching the incorporation of Liberland companies as a DAO. So you come to Liberland, you start your company and you get the DAO as a service. I think we are also one of the first entities to actually offer that, and we are of course the first nation states to do it. So if you want to do your ICO, the fastest way is basically to incorporate in Liberland, and you get right away your decentralized autonomous organization. You can issue tokens. Other cool thing is that Liberland businesses are getting together. They are forming different associations. One of them is Liberland Chamber of Commerce, and this Chamber of Commerce is systematically spreading its influence and its contacts with other chambers of commerce. Recently, we were invited to speak at the Czech Chamber of Commerce. We've got some good connections in Bulgarian Chamber of Commerce and Serbian Chamber of Commerce. So even our Chamber of Commerce, which of course is very much crypto-focused, is doing well in terms of contacting with other countries. And those are the basic information about the incorporation. There is one interesting fact. if you incorporate Liberland company under special rules, you also get a Seychelles company as a sister company of that entity, which makes it much easier for you to do international trade. Of course, sometimes Liberland entities are not fully recognized by other countries, but then we are getting around this by offering Liberlanders to get a sister company of that entity in Seychelles. One more element that is of course necessary is to have a strong presence. Right now, because of Croatia and because of the flooding which is happening from time to time in Liberland, all we are doing is that we can build on the water next to Liberland, on the beautiful sandy beaches that are there every summer. And I would like to invite you, because on 13th of April, the Bitcoin Freedom, I would say quite nice boat, will be permanently stationed next to Liberland. We will launch a grand opening of that. And not just that, we are offering Liberlanders to basically get their own piece of property next to Bitcoin Freedom. So everything that will be happening now, there will be enough accommodation locally that people can come visit and stay. They can stay for a week or they can stay forever. It will be part as close as possible to Liberland. Those are the houseboats that are now being built and that will be moved directly next to the territory. So, again, it was a great pleasure being here. I would really enjoy if you guys took an active part in the Liberland ecosystem. It's always a good idea to have second citizenship or second residency. It takes a couple of minutes to apply. Of course, it would be great if you also decided to launch your company, and if you want to launch it as a DAO, please approach me because the DAO incorporation is still in the beta testing. And I would like to invite you to two main events, which is 13th of April, that's the anniversary, and that will be the opening of the facility, but also 13th of August, there should be a Liberland festival, something like a Burning Man. But also organized mainly by private entities, so I don't want to influence how that will look like, but I think it will be a great event, attend to, similar to Burning Man. So thank you very much. I'm very easy to be approached. I will direct whatever your questions are to one of our departments. I always have enough time on the flights to sort out emails, even though sometimes it's crazy. And I'm here to answer any of your questions.
Thank you, Mr. Vít Jedlička. Klaus, please, the President of the Free Liberland Republic. Друзья, у нас есть немножко времени на вопросы. Я задам вопрос, у меня лично к Виту есть вопрос, сначала на русском, потом translated in English. Что было самым сложным при создании Liberland и какие главные вызовы сейчас перед ним стоят? What things or thing was most difficult when you established Liberland, and what are the main challenges before Liberland now?
Well, to be honest with you, it seems that starting a new country is a much easier process than trying to fix an existing one. It would be very frankly, I think it would be futile if I put the same amount of energy into changing Czech Republic into first decentralized autonomous government. Of course, you cannot do stuff if you don't have people that want to do it with you, and especially in democracy where all the systems are entangled and people are used to getting welfare and everybody wants to get subsidies from state. Those are things that we want to avoid in Liberland, and we can only do it if we have enough Liberlanders for it. I think really like the whole system is the whole timeline. We are following the timeline that we set, and I'm very happy about all the international support, especially the support from the crypto community. And that everything has been so far better than we expected.
Thank you. Are you really personally happy when you did this?
I think it was of course a decision at the beginning. I realized that we are doing something significant. But again, I didn't realize that the idea will have so many followers, and I just hope that Liberlanders will be a couple million in the next couple of years, that there will be more Liberlanders, for example, than Croatians, in a couple of years, and that we will be really able to provide the best working jurisdiction that could be a good example for others.
We wish you to reach your goals. Аплодисменты. Вít Jedlička, президент свободной Турции, находится здесь, с ним можно сфотографироваться.